What's going on, you guys? Welcome back to Daniel Stock Bites. Here on this channel, we do quick 2 to 5 minute videos on high growth tech stocks. And today we're going to be talking about Palantir again. So I first covered Palantir about a month ago when they first IPO'd. And that was the first time that Ark Invest actually bought into Palantir. And today I have some more news for you guys. Ark Invest, they bought some more Palantir. So my previous video, if you haven't seen that, Ark Invest, they actually bought around $200,000 worth of Palantir. But today, when I got Ark Invest's email as to what they bought in the stock market today, they showed that they bought about 1 million shares of Palantir. And at Palantir's current price, if we go to the charts, it's at $15.80. So they roughly spent $15.8 million on Palantir today. And in my previous video, I mentioned that Ark Invest will probably bring up their position to around $13 million to match their second lowest position, which was Wix at the time. However, now if we go into the ARKW fund, which they bought Palantir, we can see that Palantir is no longer the lowest holding in this portfolio. So Palantir is still a relatively small position, or very small position, in this ARKW fund, which is their next generation internet ETF. So the stocks in this portfolio probably have a good 5 to 10 year outlook, as they are considered next generation. So not the current generation's high growth internet stocks, but they will be a huge player in the next years to come. So the question is, why did Ark Invest decide to buy in heavily on Palantir today instead of back when it was at its $10 levels? And the reason why I think they started buying in heavy right now is because Palantir finally reported their first earnings as a public company. So if we go to Yahoo Finance and just scroll down the article list to see what headlines are saying about Palantir's earnings, we can see that Palantir earnings beat expectations. Palantir reports revenue growth of 52%, raises full year 2020 guidance. Palantir falls on wider loss as higher costs offset Q3 revenues. So 2 out of these 3 articles had some sort of positive light to shed on Palantir's earnings. In addition to this, I saw another article down here. Thiel-backed Palantir soars as Biden inches closer to win. So it seems like that with the win of Joe Biden, Palantir stock has upticked in a positive manner because maybe Biden's government platform will support Palantir's business. This is an interesting point, that how Biden's win could actually help Palantir. And the reason why that this article is stating that is because the US Defense Department is among its largest customers, and Palantir could benefit from the budget cuts because its software often costs less than similar offerings from traditional defense contractors. So Palantir software seems to be a better option if the US Defense Department is looking to cut their budget. Jumping back to their earnings, we can go over to their balance sheet just to see the health of this company financially. We can see that they have about $1.8 billion of cash on their balance sheet, and they only have current liabilities of $900 million. So Palantir has more than enough cash to cover the debts, which is one good sign. Also, another thing that I picked out from their earnings report is that they have existing customer contracts which last for an additional 3.6 years on average. So this shows that Palantir's business is not based on short-term customers, but their customers are with them for a fairly long term. And this provides stability in their earnings projections. We can see that in their Q3 earnings, they reported a revenue guidance for the year of 2020, and they updated it to $1.071 billion. And this puts them at a PS ratio of 25 for the year 2020. So Palantir is not priced cheaply, but there are predictions amongst the investor community that if Palantir can play its cards right and capture more commercial customers, then they can get up to possibly a $200 billion market cap. So that would represent about a 10x from today. Another thing about Palantir's business is that they service many industrial customers, and these customers got hit pretty hard by the whole pandemic around the world. Things like oil and gas, or aerospace, or consumer goods companies, these stocks didn't do very well during the whole pandemic. So for that reason, I think Palantir also didn't shoot up right away when they IPO'd, because they had a lot of these large industrial customers, which were impacted by the pandemic. When we look at the charts here for Palantir, there isn't too much technical analysis that we can really pull out, just because the stock is relatively new and there's not much history in terms of price action. But if I were to take a wild guess, I think that we're probably going to consolidate around this level, maybe for a little bit before taking off even further to possibly the $20 mark. And I think that with the release of their Q3 earnings, Palantir, there's a bit more information shed on the investment community about this company, so we may see more investors getting interested in this company, And if Ark Invest continues to buy into it like they did today, then that will attract a lot more retail investors as well. If you're a shareholder of Palentir, leave a like down below. And as well, if you're looking to get into the stock, leave a comment down below as to what your price target is. Personally, I got into Palentir somewhere around the $10 level, and I bought an options contract. So I'll be holding that as a spec position for this company for the long term until it expires. That's pretty much all I have for you guys today. I'll see you guys in my next one.